Hi Gemini, this is your reading for February 2019. Thanks for joining. Please set aside anything that you might be doing so that you're not multitasking. And all of your presence is here with me for your reading. Use this time here while I'm shuffling to tune in with the deck. Tune in with your higher self and your guides also. And ask them to check in with me, with my higher self and with my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to make sure that you're getting really clear and relevant messages that are especially tailored for you. Alright, Gemini, let's take a look here. I feel as though that the focus for you at the moment is really, it's a very empowered feeling. It's a feeling like you're reclaiming your energy. It feels like you're coming back to your true nature. That's what I feel here. There's this sense here of like really sitting in your own authority, of like focusing on the things that are important for you and really like eliminating and what's the word? There's this feeling here of like loss, but it's not a loss in a sad way. It's more like you have made your choices and you are benefiting from the clarity of mind that you've had, that has been able to, with discernment, remove things that are not for you and really kind of embody and align with things that are. And so as the crowning card here is this Ace of Wands, it's this amazing feeling of vitality, of a fresh new beginning, of bursting forth with inspiration into a new endeavor, having closed out something else, closing out a previous cycle based upon an emotional decision. And I don't mean emotional in a negative way at all. It's more like you feeling yourself in a way that allows you to kind of, with clarity, release yourself from obligations, from things that you've been engaged with for some time that now are actually no longer part of your journey, because you have made a clear decision that those things are not for you anymore, and you're moving more in the direction of the things that are actually really meaningful for you. Really powerful feeling. And this feeling here with like this, like as I said, this feeling of loss, like this Five of Cups in reverse in the position of outcome. It's also paired here with this Nine of Cups, which is in reverse here. But I feel like there's this, the message here is that you're closing out an old cycle. That's what the world is. Even though these cards are in the position of the outcome, I feel like what it's describing is what you have just completed, which is like you've closed out a cycle, one in which your happiness was not important. It was not the priority. It was more like an arduous climb. But I feel like there is for many of you like a closing of a cycle here where it was a necessary kind of heads down, focused approach to resolving your wellness, your health. For some of you, you may have been in a period of recovery, whether that means like rehabilitation from addiction. For some of you, it was simply about recovering from perhaps some kind of like emotional instability or financial instability, or some kind of like pattern of inconsistency that you really have strived, I don't know if that's the right word, if you've really dedicated yourself to overcoming periods of isolation and periods of what's the word there? Like you've dedicated yourself to changing your patterns, basically. That's what I feel is here. Like even though what you're coming out of now is a period where you may not have been doing things exactly in the ways that you wanted to, it was a cycle of dedicated practice to really solidifying and grounding in a discipline. It doesn't matter how that discipline appeared, but it's something that you've been doing, and that you've completed a cycle in a way to really ground in and anchor a certain type of discipline, a certain type of practice that you're now able to apply in other areas of your life towards things that are actually more interesting and meaningful for you. That the period that you've been through now is over, but it's not one that was it was certainly not one that's been wasted, even though, as I said, you may not have been in situations or in activities or in a workplace or even in relationships that have been satisfying to you or made you feel contented, but there has been a purpose to it, and that purpose has been achieved, and that is that you've accomplished a sense of wellness and health. You've accomplished a sense of grounded discipline and practice. You are embodying your divinity and your authority in a very grounded, in a very practical way. You have uncovered your own resourcefulness. You have been able to identify what's for you and what's not for you, and you've been able to commit to and dedicate yourself to things that really are for you. Now, I feel like I've spoken about all these cards already now. I'm going to talk here about these cards in the position of your hopes and fears. You have the Page of Swords in reverse with the Star in reverse. I feel that this is something to do with... I feel there's some kind of communication here that is... You're still waiting on something, even though you've kind of... It feels like you've definitely already moved forward into this new thing that you are pursuing with great clarity and vigor. It's definitely already underway. But I feel like there is some kind of thread of communication that you may be waiting on that will enable you to kind of close the door on something that you really feel like you need to have some clarity on to be able to walk away from. That's what I'm getting there, the message. But I don't feel like this is in any way a hindrance to you moving forward and moving on. Like, you can definitely move forward, but it feels like it may not be for everyone, but I feel like there is some communication there that you may be waiting on for either clarification of something that's closed, or clarification perhaps for some of you for something that you may be waiting on with regards to something that is new that you wish to begin. But fundamentally what's going on here is that you are at the start of a new cycle where your priorities are much more on the things that bring joy for you. And also there's a beginning of a cycle here where I feel that there is a greater awareness or a greater focus on things that you can do, or ways that you can use your resourcefulness to actually create physical abundance. And again, applying the discipline and the purposefulness that you have now mastered through this last cycle that you've been in, to be able to apply that to new projects and new ventures where you have a much greater chance of success, because you've it's almost like you've completed an apprenticeship. For some of you, that's what this is. You've kind of completed an apprenticeship. And it's funny because, like, in today's age, we don't really have apprenticeships, even though we ought to, because they're so awesome. But I feel like you've put yourself through your own apprenticeship in a way where you kind of, as I said, dedicated to a practice of kind of embodying a certain type of discipline or some kind of task, whether it's been the work that you've been, or the relationship that you've been in, whether it's been the relationship with yourself, but you've been dedicated to a certain type of practice where you have now kind of you've really got a strong hold on your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and you now are able to take that learning and understanding in the direction of really important things that are really meaningful to you, and you have a really good chance of being very successful at them because you put in that time and effort to overcome parts of your own nature. I'm hearing it's like certain parts of your own nature that you've had to kind of restrain. It's like you've had to restrain certain parts of your personality and also enhance certain parts of your personality in order to get this well-rounded, well-balanced person who's really at this place of amazing self-confidence right now because you've put in that effort. And it's from this place of grounded self-confidence and understanding of your resourcefulness that is allowing you to spring forth into this new thing with vitality, with enthusiasm, and with passion. And that in itself is what is absolutely going to ensure your success. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. King of Swords in reverse, Emperor reversed. Nine of Wands reversed, and Three of Wands upright. There's the Nine of Pentacles here. I'm going to take that because I love that card. What I feel is here is, remember I said in the early part of the reading with regards to this hopes and fears quadrant, there's something here about like perhaps you're waiting for a communication to close something out. I feel it could be connected here to something with regards to some of you might be waiting for word from or to a father figure or a boss or someone, a masculine person. Doesn't have to be a man, but someone who's either a boss or in some way an authority figure. It could be a father. I feel like you're waiting there for something, some kind of communication that will give you a sense of freedom, in the sense that you kind of feel like you get permission, or you get the green light, or you get something. And I would say from my heart, with all genuine and kindness and love and compassion, don't wait for that communication. Don't wait for someone else to give you permission. Just do you. Go ahead, move forward with the things that you want to do, and don't wait for someone to give you permission, because you don't need it. You don't need it. Now, this Nine of Wands reversed with the Three of Wands upright, I feel what's here is, this is a reminder that even though you have this kind of level of mastery, as I described earlier, with having put in your time in your apprenticeship, whether it's been in a recovery or whether it's been in your own type of whatever that was, what I feel this means here is that the Nine of Wands is saying that just because, and it's reversed, just because you've done that now doesn't mean you don't have to keep doing it. This means very clearly that you need to continue on with that practice of discipline, with that like, when you like, working on your self-esteem is what changes your life, right? But it's not like you just you work on it and you get your self-esteem and then you don't have to work on it anymore. It's forever. It's that is the persistence the persistence of continual self-love and self-esteem and valuing yourself, and like digging deep to keep finding more is the path that we ought to dedicate to, and that is what generates success and abundance and freedom and all the good things that we want. But it's an ongoing task. You don't just achieve a certain thing and then shelve that and then move on. It's an ongoing task. So that's the message I feel here of the Nine of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles together. And also this Three of Wands here, I feel like this is also a reminder, like your dedication to this practice and your commitment to persevering, to continuing on, to continuing to like embody your self-worth and move forward towards the things that you value and the dreams and visions that you have. It's about this long-term vision, right? So use the time now to kind of like dream up your future and dream up your, like really put energy and effort at this time into like visualization and really imagining the future that you want, and that is how you will achieve it. That, along with the actual practical steps of actually doing the things, is what will make it happen. That's what the manifestation is. That's how to manifest, is to have the vision but then actually move towards. So that is your general reading, Gemini. Let me just check there's nothing else here. Yep. I'm going to take the Voyager deck now to give your higher octave reading. So while I shuffle, please do focus in with me. Send your energy over into the deck so that I can get really clear messages for you. Now the Voyager deck and the higher octave reading is designed to give us a little more insight to what's happening on a spiritual level, on an emotional level, on a karmic level, to help us understand what the opportunities are that we're actually being provided with, so that we can know how best to move forward and rise up to meet those opportunities with grace, from a position of a higher understanding, to make the most of the opportunities that are available. You have the Emperor there again in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Eight of Cups, crossed by Woman of Worlds, Woman of Crystals, the Lovers reversed, Man of Crystals reversed, Ace of Cups, Child of Worlds, Three of Worlds reversed, Nine of Worlds, Four of Worlds, a lot of Worlds, Man of Worlds, the Hangman reversed, Five of Worlds reversed, and the Magician. Okay. So my first feeling, like, obviously all those worlds coming through, that's significant. Let me just count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So 5 out of the cards that are in there's 14 cards in my higher octave spread. So there's 5 out of the 14 are Pentacles cards here. So let me feel into that for a second. I feel that, I mean, you have the Lover's card here at the foundation of the reading in the position of the unconscious mind. Now, the Lover's card is traditionally considered the Gemini card. So I feel that, I do feel that this card in this reading, in this position, in context, I feel that this is you. It's not about a relationship. This is about you. And I feel that what's being shared here from your higher self is that even though you've made huge strides and there is a massive progression happening here, I think that there is something to be said about the transition that you're in right now, where like you have made huge changes and you have made a massive strides in your development. But I feel like the message that your higher self wants to pass on here is to not get too comfortable in feeling like you've achieved all there is to achieve. I think they want you to understand that you're still forming, you're still developing, you're still growing, and there is still information from the unconscious mind that is yet to be revealed that will help you continue to grow and move forward. So I think this is just about, like, yes, sure, acknowledging that you've come such a long way and that you are in this beautiful new place of understanding and beginnings, and there's a lot of like anticipation for something exciting and new and fresh, and you definitely want to enjoy this moment and feel that energy, and like this Ace of Cups moment of, like, for sure, like this overwhelming feeling of love and understanding and compassion for life, and how beautiful and extraordinary this human experience is. But just know that the work is ongoing, and that there is more that will be revealed in the months to come, with regard to the particular place that you're at in your journey right now. But other cards here are feeling like there is this amazing feeling of, like, yes, a sense of reward, a sense of accomplishment, a sense of, yes, having really come through a really long cycle that may have been rather difficult, or rather, what's the word? Like that feeling I'm getting is like like exactly like being in an apprenticeship. It's like I'm seeing like the Karate Kid right now, where he's in that, like, you're in the trenches and you're being kind of you're training. So there's that feeling of, like, physical, mental, and emotional kind of, like, digging deep to kind of make it through, and to really, like, push yourself to the limits, right? So there's this feeling of, like, yes, attainment or achievement of having kind of successfully completed your apprenticeship or completed your training. But there is this feeling also here of there's still more to come. You know, you may feel like you've accomplished something, but you're kind of just at the beginning in many ways. And that's a beautiful thing. That's an exciting thing. It's not something that you should be trepidatious of or afraid of or unhappy to hear me say. This is an exciting thing. And there is this feeling here of, like, overcoming, like, 8 of Cups here at the center of the reading, crossed by the Woman of Worlds. There's a feeling here of overcoming some stagnancy, where it is like that maybe for some of you, that cycle that I just described, where you had been in, like, a very focused, dedicated practice of healing or recovery or whatever for some of you. This is a moment now where you get to come out and enjoy. You get to enjoy the fruits of your hard labor, of your hard work, and now and you're breaking out of that stagnancy and coming back into the world in a way where you can get to experience all the senses again. You can experience people in a different way. You can experience your own mind and your own perception of things in a different way, because you've really cleansed and detoxed and purified and released a lot of stuff. Now, and yeah, with that comes this feeling of, like, playfulness and joyfulness. You have the Child of Worlds here in this quadrant with the Magician. So there is this very exciting feeling that comes with that, of, like, the potential that's there for you to kind of start something new, or embody and experience your magic in a different way, now that you've kind of released a lot of stuff from the past that was, like, I'm hearing toxic, or for some of you that may actually have been, you know, addiction or some kind of either toxic behavior, or people that you were around, relationships that were not working for you, and now you're coming through a period where you've purified a lot of stuff. There is that excited, as I said, feeling of potential, of possibility of what you can do now that you have, like, freed up a lot of energy and space from, like, things that were not really working for you. And then here we have the Three of Worlds and the Five of Worlds, both in reverse. I feel like what the message of this is like energy in your environment. I feel that there is, again, a reminder here to, even though you've come through your period of recovery or your period of like intensive discipline and work that was, you know, maybe a little bit arduous, again, this is a reminder to not slip back into old habits, to maintain your practices, to make sure that you do take care and that you are nurturing the self and that you don't allow yourself to fall back into old habits and old ways, that you really protect your energy and that you continue to apply discipline and self-love in every moment of every day so that you can maintain what you've achieved from all the hard work that you've put in. Now, finally, let's see what else is here. So, interestingly enough, you have the Woman of Crystals in the position of the crowning card. And this card here in the position of coming into the reading is the Man of Crystals in reverse. So you had the King of Swords in reverse. It's the same energy there, right? I feel that the message here with this is again about clarity of mind. These are kind of your own archetypes. The King of Swords and the Queen of Swords can be your own archetype. I feel like this is describing having come out of a period of lack of clarity and coming out of a cloudy time, or coming out of like your healing time, your process of like being kind of maybe a bit cloistered away and focused on your work and focused on your purification and on your healing. Now, if you're coming back out into the world in a little bit more of a public way and being more like available socially and things like that, I think this is just a reminder to maintain your clarity, as I said earlier. Maintain it's like a level of self-protection while being able to kind of be open in a certain way. There is a reminder here to maintain a certain level of self-protection where you manage the influences that are around you and really take care to not partake or not to like... it's just about maintaining a discipline and maintaining the clarity of mind that you have. Bottom of the deck, Emperor reversed. Again, you had that before. 5 of Wands, Sage of Crystals, and the High Priestess reversed. There's Death here as well. I'm going to take that. I feel that what's here is, again, like this sense of just a gentle reminder to kind of let you know that, yes, you have achieved a lot and you have attained a lot, but there is this need here to maintain your sense of discipline and your sense of practice and your routines to make sure that you are really embodying that potential that you have of knowing where your real power is and not falling back into old ways, into old habits, into old routines where you just kind of slip back into ways that are not healthy or not nurturing to the self. That's what I feel like that message is there. And then the Sage of Crystals with Death in reverse is again a repetition of the message here. It's another iteration of what I just described earlier, where I feel that it's really important for you to maintain your sense of clarity of mind and maintain your routines and habits and preserve your practices that are disciplinarian and health caring and nurturing, and maintain your sense of like self-esteem by really, really, really embodying and really dedicating to those practices of self-care in order to keep the mind and the body clear. And in that way, you'll maintain that transformative experience that you've had and carry that forward into the endeavors that you wish to undertake next, which, you know, you have here in this position of the outcome. You have the commencement, 4 of Wands in reverse, with the Man of Worlds upright, and it's called Achiever in this deck. So it's about, you know, being able to kind of use this position that you've come to now, where you kind of come out of a period of detox or purification or apprenticeship or study of some kind, and allow this to be a springboard into your like visions and goals for yourself for the future. But it does require you to maintain a sense of groundedness, to maintain a sense of purification and discipline, and practice your resourcefulness and self-love in a way that is like just become part of who you are. Like become identified with the things that you do that allow you to feel like you're really nurturing and caring for the self, and that in that way you'll be able to really like carry on with it, and it becomes part of who you are. Okay, let me just check if there's anything else here, Gemini. I feel that's it for your reading. Let me just check over. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for your subscription. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to get notified when new videos get uploaded, you need to hit the notification bell as well. I've started doing readings now for the full moon and the new moon, so look out for that playlist and do watch that again because there's a lot there. You might want to review it again towards the end of the month to just kind of recap and see as events unfold over the month. You might find that different parts of the reading really stand out as you watch it a second time. and you might find that you glean more information towards the end of the month if you watch it again. So do that, and yeah, thank you so much for your time. I will see you in next month's reading.